Hi everyone, welcome back to David at Go Hobbies. Right, I'm a very much a keen war gamer, and I see what's going on in the country, and I think it's how do I put it? Done deliberately. The government is doing this deliberately. It's upsetting the people. Right? Doesn't matter which side of the fence you sit on, you can see it. People are starting to become unhappy. That is civil unrest. The next stage civil disobedience and then civil war. What do we mean by civil unrest? Is when people are starting to like paint on St George's crossings and roundabouts, hanging flags, going around with a van and having what we think of Starmer on it. That is civil unrest, right? Because what's happening is basically this country has, how do I put it? Sorry, it's not the country. It's the government is almost like doing it deliberately. You got to understand what the government do, and that's this: they cause a problem to solve a problem. So why are they doing this? That's what we got to work out. Why are they doing this? There's a strategy to their plan. You've got to think on the same level of what the government's doing. That way, you will know what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how you counteract it. It's all to do with strategies. All right? So you got to look at who's doing this, why they're doing it, what is the motive. All has a strategy. Get that, and you'll be well on the way to resolving the problem. It's about thinking what they're doing, thinking about why they're doing it, and how you counteract it. This government is not daft by any means. They might be stupid, but they're not daft. And by playing up like they are, there's a reason to it. It's not, I first thought they're absolutely, utterly, completely incompetent. Well, they are that as well, but I'm just saying what it comes down to is understanding the reasons, trying to find out the reasons why, and trying to work out what their end game is. What is their goals? Because this has got to be taken apart and analysed and worked out what they're trying to do. We need people to try and figure out, okay, it's all very well saying, right? Oh, we know this, we know that. But there's a method to the madness. As the old saying goes, there's a method to the madness. So if they are trying to deliberately cause civil unrest and bring people up against the authorities, why are they doing it? Right, they're bringing in illegal immigrants. Yes, they are bringing them in. Okay? So, how do you understand their philosophies, their reasons, and what they're doing? You've got to look past what's actually happening and you've got to understand what the strategies are. Then you can put a plan together to stop that or to basically say enough's enough. You know as well as I do there is something drastically wrong in this country, right? Are they trying to align us to the European Union? Are they trying to get us to a state where we got to go back into the European Union fully? I don't know. It's just a suggestion. Is it that they are trying to cause civil unrest deliberately, which I think so? As I said, there's a planned, excuse me, there is a method to the madness. Yes, we think they are absolutely stupid, and that is correct, because no sane person would do what they're doing. But what I will say is this: what they're doing, as I keep repeating, there's a method, and we need to understand what the method is. We need to understand what the logic is behind it, and then we can do something about it. We need to find out and do some serious thinking and some serious investigation. I'm not saying people should hack the system. That's not a good thing to do. But what I'll say this is that information of what they want to do, it's got to be out there somewhere. It's got to be a plan, right? There's got to be it in on a computer somewhere, and that information, right, what they're planning to do, has got to be made public. I'm not saying people should hack the system, not in any shape, way, or form. But I think what they should do, they should come clean. They should be honest with the general public, the British citizens, what they're trying to do. This is the whole point about government, why they go about things wrongly. They try to save face, and by doing so, what they do is put people's backs up. All they do is seem to go about things in the wrong way. Look what Margaret Thatcher done. Yeah? You remember Margaret Thatcher? Some people say she did this, some people she said she's done that. Any Prime Minister throughout history has shown good sides and bad sides, but with one exception. Keir Starmer will go down in history as the worst Prime Minister the UK has ever had in living history. No ifs, no buts, that is the truth. Right? But what we also got to understand, who's controlling Starmer? Who is the civil servants and the think tank behind this? Is it previous Labour Prime Ministers? Is it a think tank? Is it these special advisors? I don't know. But you start to point fingers at certain things and you start to understand what sort of strategies they're coming up with, and you've got to understand the reasons to it. And I'll use an analogy. It's just like a war game, right? You have a situation, you know what you want to do, where you want to be, and how to achieve it. But you've got to use certain aspects of your infantry, yeah, hybrid warfare. You've got to use drones. You've got to use surveillance. You've got to use espionage. All these things in a scenario of warfare, right? I'm not using it for, don't be silly, I'm not using it for this scenario. I'm just saying in warfare, that is what they will do. There's a lot more to it as that. And then you drop saboteurs behind the lines. You've got special services behind the lines. And basically, you know what goes on, you know. And besides that, you've got to have a reason for everything. And this is what I'm trying to get at. It's the reason what the government is doing it, and the reason why the government is doing it to us. We need to find out. It's all right, people going around the country. Well, I don't think it's a good thing, right? But we've got to be smarter than the government. We've got to be cleverer, because all they're doing is causing civil unrest deliberately. That's what I think. It's all orchestrated. And then you understand, if they're actually orchestrating it and doing it for a reason, what does that tell you about the government? What does that tell you about the people that are in charge of this country? What does it tell you about the king? Big question, isn't it? What do you think the king, it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem to, what's the word I'm looking for? The cogs don't align up. It just seems something is drastically wrong with our society. Something's drastically wrong with the power structure of this country. It's almost like they're an alien. I know it's weird, but it's almost like you don't do this to your people. You don't have a king that is letting the Prime Minister rule this country. Is he implicit in it? I don't know. But it just makes you think, what the hell is going on? Why are they doing this? Why is the king not stepping in and say, the government's not fit for purpose, I dissolve this government? The king has got the power. Why is the king not doing this? We are, a democratic country. We are supposed to be a leading country in the world. We punch way above our weight in many aspects. But through consecutive governments of mismanaging and selling off our assets, we are where we are now, in an absolute poo bin. This is what I personally think, because at the end of the day, we are faced with a situation that we have never ever faced before. We're in a situation where we are being pushed into a corner. We're like a cornered rat. That's the best way I can describe it. We're like a rat being pushed. And in the end, that rat is going to go for you. That rat is going to come out of that hole, out of that corner, and get you. And this is what is going to happen to the British public. In the end, right, the British public will flip, just like that. Because we are being cornered like a rat. This is what's going to happen in British society. We've been pushed, and we've been pushed. We're at that limit. I can see it. You can see it. But what is going to make the spark? I do not know. We are on the verge of World War III with Russia. The only reason we're not at war is because of NATO's good governance. But that's besides the point. What I've talked about is more pressing at home. But it does have a reflect of what goes on outside our borders. I'm going to say it's a suggestion. Is Putin being influenced by... is Starmer being influenced by Putin? Is it because they're a Labour Party, a Communist Party? Is it because they don't care about the people? They don't care about their country. They don't care about... I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this. When you hear the Prime Minister talk, right, my personal feelings is just a lot of bullshit. That is the truth. I don't believe a word he says. It's all just smoke and mirrors. You can't take Sir Keir Starmer at face value, because that man is the worst Prime Minister we've ever had. And as for the King Charles III, he could do a damn sight better than leaving this Prime Minister in power. That's how I feel. But I don't know about what you think, but I feel that we're in civil unrest at the moment, right? We are at a point where we're verging on civil war. It won't take much. As I said, we're like a cornered rat. But to summarise, I hope we don't. I hope, and I pray to God that this government, Keir Starmer, resigns. I think we need a general election. And I think that is the only way to bring this country back down from where we are now, on the brink of civil war. That is the only sensible way. Because no matter what this government will do now, it's beyond reasoning. It's beyond people's happy with it. We're happy with the government being controlled by the Labour Party. The end is the end has got to be no more Labour government. We've seen what the Conservatives have done. They sat on their laurels for 14 years. And, you know, we've had thousands and thousands and thousands of boats come across with illegal immigrants in there. And now we've got more thousands and thousands and thousands of illegal immigrants into the UK. But with the passing thought is, and that's this: it could all be avoided. It's true, isn't it? Anyway, I've rabbited on for too long. Please leave a comment down below. I'm sure you will. But please subscribe to the channel. That will help this video to get out to other people like yourself that are watching it. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.